Why is the pain not ending? Why is it when you've been on this spiritual journey for so long and you've done the work, you've gone to the retreats, you've learned about singing bowls or the chakras or shadow work, and you've brought yourself into alignment, you only live from love, and you've taken all the supplements. There's lots of different ways at looking at doing the work. Why is it still hurting? Why are you still in pain? Now, that's a really big question, and it's got a really big answer as well. But I will explain to you from my perspective and from my experiences and from the healing work that I do, how you can find your way through the pain into the other side of into peace and into tranquility and into genuine grounded love. Okay, my name is Nietzsche Linda McIntosh, and I show you how to thrive by living multidimensionally. Okay, so first of all, I just want to say that I've been there. I completely understand it. You've opened up into your spiritual practice and you've had the awakening experience. You've probably had the dark night of the soul. You've done lots of shadow work, and you've been reading the books, and you've been going to the courses, and you've been watching the YouTube videos, and you have a really good vocabulary around the subject matter. You have an understanding of what you're trying to do and where you're trying to get to, and you're healing all this old stuff. You're healing this life, you're healing past lives, you're healing family relations, you're healing your relationship with yourself. You've got the inner child, the adult, the parent. You're healing all your trauma, all your addictions. You're actually labeling things, and then you're trying to dissect them and make sense of them and transform them into something healthier. So why is it still painful? Why isn't it healing? Well, there's quite a few different reasons, and I'm going to give you 3 of the main reasons, not specifically to give you the answers, but to give you the framework to work in, that you will find the solutions. And this is the method that all of my clients are given, whether they realize it or not, when they work with me. It's the method that worked for me. It's the method that was designed to work for me, and it's the method that I really believe in with my clients. And the people that come to me use this methodology, and that's why they keep coming back. And it gives them real empowerment. It gives them full integrity and full charge of their life. And they use this framework repeatedly for every subject that comes up, for every obstacle that comes their way, for every life situation that they have to deal with. And I don't heal anyone. I don't fix anyone. I show them how to fix themselves inside this method. So there's 3 parts to it, and I'll give that to you now, okay? So this is about why are we still in pain? So the first part is radical responsibility. Now, radical responsibility is basically taking ownership of absolutely everything that happens to you. And that's quite a tough one to chew. To own that the stuff that happened in this life, the stuff that happened in your childhood, the stuff that happened in past lives, the things that shape you to be who you are now, the perhaps trauma that happened in childhood, or maybe an incident that happened at school that shaped you. You know, this is all my clients' issues, and these things get stuck in people's energy fields. And something will often, which seems really small as an adult, but it's in there from childhood, and it's really big. And this is the responsibility that we do as healing, that when we take responsibility for everything that happened or is part of us, for example, in your past lives, your soul, then you have the ability to take charge of it in this life and in the now, because there is no time, in the now, and you can transform it into something healing. So the radical responsibility even includes things like things that happened to you 17 lifetimes ago. Because you're responsible now for your behavior. So if you have a trauma from a previous life, that can change. You can change that energy. You can change that frequency. You can change that outcome now in this life. So that's the responsibility for all of your entire being. From the day dot. This is soulful living. This is multidimensional living. Okay? What about if something horrible happened to you in your childhood and you were too young and your caregivers didn't look after you? I'm sorry to hear that that happened. These things do happen, and in a very brutal manner, life isn't fair. And life isn't designed to be fair, because fairness in one person's mind is actually different than fairness in another person's mind. And that's the whole point of it. There is no level playing field. So it's being responsible for the hand that you've been dealt, for the pieces that are on the table. And what you do with them is your responsibility. So when we say that this happened to us in our childhood, or this person stole my pencil case, or this, we can have really deep trauma, we can have really horrific things that have happened to us. As an adult, and as an adult that is choosing to heal and live a better life, it's our responsibility what we do with that. And it's our responsibility to make ourselves well. So this leads into forgiveness. This leads into compassion, and this leads into love. And that is for yourself. Radical responsibility means taking charge of ourselves, okay? Taking charge of how we feel in this moment, in that situation that happened to us, and owning those feelings and being really honest with ourselves, okay? That is radical responsibility for all of your entire being through all your lives. The radical responsibility is that every single thing that has happened to you, that is happening to you, and that will happen to you is your responsibility, okay? Now, the second parameter is searing self-awareness. Now, this is quite a difficult one to learn, because we all like to think that we're self-aware. We all like to think that we can see in the back of our heads. And self-awareness is being able to look at ourselves objectively without getting personally involved, to know our blind spots, to know our conditioning, to know our boundaries, to know how our behaviour impacts other people, to know what we need and to know when we need it. So the self-awareness of how we interact with ourselves and how we interact with the world, and where the deficit is, where we're leaning in and where we're leaning out. And again, I'm going to make another bigger video about this, but for this point in this video, this searing self-awareness is always asking the questions: is that the truth? Is that who I really am? Is this my ego talking? Is this my comfort zone? Is this the best interest? Is this in the highest good of all? Is this in my good favour? Or is this the best for humanity? So we're asking really big self-awareness questions for the highest good of all, way beyond what would suit me, what makes me feel better. Yeah? So this is the self-awareness about how, I wouldn't really call it selfish, but how much of a unity consciousness do I actually have? How much have I integrated all of my being into the society, into the divine lessons, into the spiritual growth of the entire human race? Okay, so that is self-awareness. What are my motives? What are my reasoning? Why am I doing this? And self-awareness is really good because it makes you take a look at where your motivation is coming from. So you could be really annoyed by somebody's behaviour. They could do something to you and it would feel like an injustice, or it would feel like a betrayal. And you may want to have justice or gain justice or teach them a lesson or something. And that's the self-awareness. That's the intervention, the personal intervention that you make on yourself to say, like, stop. That isn't actually the highest good. That isn't the best thing for all of us. It's not my job to seek revenge in that manner. And you have the self-awareness to step out of that story and that drama and then create the highest outcome for all. So it's hearing yourself honestly. It's really listening to the truth of who you are, out with the ego and the agendas and the conditioning and all the other stuff. Okay? And again, I could go into a much deeper point on this. So that's radical responsibility. It's all yours. It's searing self-awareness, who you are and where your motivations are coming from. And the third thing is diligently doing the work. So there's a little bit of alliteration here, but diligently doing the work. And that's basically it. You're diligently doing the work. You're doing what needs to be done to get yourself to the right place, which is, the right place is actually the divine state and the highest version of your soul's consciousness in this one incarnation. That's where you're going, that's where you want to be, and that's how you're going to get there. Okay? Now, that's why that's painful, because you have to take a really good look at yourself and say, do you know what? I'm not the nicest person in this room right now. I'm not the funniest person. I'm not the nicest looking. I'm not the cleverest. I'm not who I thought I was. I'm not who the voices in my head tell me are, because our ego is always talking. I'm not who perhaps my peers have told me who I am, because they all have a reason to like you as well. So when we really start doing the work, we get to see our shadow. We get to see the parts of ourselves that we don't want to look at. And it still feels painful. To take on that huge amount of radical responsibility feels like stepping up at such a high level that it's almost overwhelming, that it's a massive burden, that feels like you're juggling 1,000 balls at once. Okay, and sometimes you don't have the signposting, sometimes you don't have the resources, sometimes you haven't actually met all the people yet, but I can guarantee you, you will. The universe will deliver everything you need when you need it, because this is what you've chosen to do. You've chosen to be responsible at such a deep, soulful level. You're tidying up all these timelines. You're tidying up all this dimensional gunk, for want of a better word. Why wouldn't the universe support you? You're tidying up, you're healing, and you're cleaning up dimensionally. Of course the universe is going to support you. And then when you're doing the Seering Self-Awareness, you're looking at parts of yourself that you haven't looked at before, and it's raw. It's really raw, it's really ugly, it's really painful, it's really challenging or traumatic, whichever words you choose to use. But when you've looked at it, it loses its power. It loses its dominance. It loses its unconscious control over you. Okay? And then the third one, diligently doing the work, is those two things as well. And you keep going and you keep going and you keep getting up and you keep researching, you keep studying, you keep paying for the courses, you keep buying more tissues to cry, you keep whatever. Okay? The secret is that you're not passing it on and you're not creating more negativity and more drama and more karma for yourself. And the universe will support that wholeheartedly. So when you do these things which seem really hard, challenging, confrontational and painful, you will actually heal and you will get to a place of responsibility. So that radical responsibility will actually lead you into autonomy. It will lead you to integrity. It will lead you to accountability, authenticity. The Seering Self-Awareness will take you to authenticity. It will take you to healthier communication. It will take you to heart-based living. And the diligently doing the work will make you realize that you don't want to go through this process again. And you will start to be more loving with yourself and with others, and more humble and more grounded, more honest, more kind to yourself and others. Now this actually makes you step up. It makes you really level up, and it leads to love. It leads to kindness. It leads to universal flow. It leads to opening up into the entire multidimensional. It leads to healing so much karma, so much life past. It leads to healing the entire consciousness of the entire planet. Okay, so radical responsibility, seeding self-awareness, and diligently doing the work. And you will get there. Trust me, you will get there. Okay? And it will make you strong. And you will be in charge of your own being. And you will know what is the best thing for you. And I'm here for you. My name is Nietzsche Linda McIntosh. I'm a multi-dimensional healer. And trust me, I have been there. And I am still there. Okay? I'm still on my own journey. And I remember a long time ago. And I remember the radical responsibility. I said to myself, if you don't take a really damn good look at yourself, you're never going to get out of this, okay? So, yeah, I hope that helps, and do the work and you'll get through the other side, and the universe has your back as well, okay? All the best. Thank you so much.